my name is Jake. I have a pretty special video for you guys today. I am going to be showing you my record collection. And it's been growing for some time now. You know, I got into vinyl about 3-4ish years ago, and I've already built, somewhat of a collection. So, yeah, I know seems a little impulsive, because it is, but I mean, I really just feel the urge to talk about just records right now. Of course I'll be still doing my 102 albums, but I mean, if I feel like talking about something else, I'm gonna talk about something else. That's just how it is right now. And I would show you my setup right now, but it's a little bit more of a mess than I'd like to admit. But my record player looks exactly like this. It works perfectly, it's a fine setup in my opinion, sounds great pretty much all the time. So, yeah, without further ado, this is my general musical vinyl taste, I guess, if you want to call it that, in a nutshell. Let's go. Probably my favorite guilty pleasure group, Abba. This is, of course, their greatest hits compilation, Gold. Pretty much everything I like by them on it. I've got AC/DC, Let There Be Rock, classic. Back in Black, classic. Favorite Aerosmith record, Rocks. Alice Cooper, greatest hits. One of the most nostalgic compilations to me. Alice in Chains, Dirt, one of the great albums of all time, in my opinion. Top 3 live albums of all time. Allman Brothers, At Fillmore East. And, of course, their compilation. Because, I mean, they were more of a live band, but these are my favorite of their studio songs, all in one compilation. This is The Road Goes On Forever. Got Alan Parsons Project. This is iRobot. Forgot the name. Great album. And, of course, Eye in the Sky. All Alan Parsons Project are very underrated, in my opinion. One of my favorite soundtracks of all time, American Graffiti. America, another kind of guilty pleasure, but I mean, they have some really good songs. This is History, their greatest hits. One of my favorite voices, Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. Antlers, Hospice, one of the most depressing yet glorious albums I've ever heard. And of course, Aretha Franklin, Aretha's Gold. Voice of a lifetime. Also nearly forgot this glorious masterpiece of an album. Yeah. Now on to the B's. We have Bad Company, debut classic. Run with the Pack, also really good. The Band, music from Big Pink, one of my favorites, along with the self-titled. And of course, no introduction needed with Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Also have Endless Summer. And this, honestly, on any given day could be my favorite Beach Boys record. Surf's Up. Please, if you are a Beach Boys fan, please listen to this. It is unreal. Big Brother and the Holding Company, Cheap Thrills, Janice at her peak here. Billy Joel, The Stranger, classic. I reviewed it. It's beyond words. 52nd Street as well. I adore this one almost just as much. Favorite metal album of all time, Paranoid, Black Sabbath. Bob Dylan, Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, brilliant, incredibly brilliant, bringing it all back home. Classic Highway 61. My favorite, Blonde on Blonde. Greatest Hits Volume 1 and Volume 2. I need to get Volume 3. Don't know exactly how easy that is to find on wax. Blood on the Tracks, almost my favorite. Desire, underrated. I know it's got a fan base, but I think it's underrated. Along with Slow Train Coming. Yeah, I like Bob Dylan's religious stuff is awesome. I don't debate you in the comments. You know it's true. Legend, best of Bob Marley. I need to get more Bob Marley. He is one of my favorites. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Live Bullet, a very good live album. Bon Iver for Emma Forever Ago. Favorite album to go to sleep to, and I don't mean that in an insulting way in the slightest. Boston, self-titled, classic. Another guilty pleasure, Anthology of Bread. They do have some really good songs. I like their style quite a bit. Great jazz fusion record, Closer to It by Brian Auger's Oblivion Express. An antique shop owner recommended it to me, and I can't complain. Did a great job. Bruce Springsteen, Greetings from Ashbury Park, New Jersey. Start of something absolutely genius. One of my personal favorites, The Wild, the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle. Born to Run. Best. Darkness on the Edge of Town, almost just as good. The classic Born in the USA. Retrospective, The Best of Buffalo Springfield. Really like these guys quite a bit. And, of course, The Byrds. It's a double album, sort of two-pack. Mr. Tambourine Man and Turn, Turn, Turn. Both jangle pop classic. Almost forgot this classic, No Dice by Badfinger, one of my favorite underrated bands. Seriously, please check them out. In case you noticed, I left out a little band in the B section. That's because I am getting to them, or shall I say doing a speed run right now. Here we go. Beatles, live at the Star Club, Hamburg, Germany. Great live album, actually. Meet the Beatles, classic. Please Please Me, With the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's, Magical Mystery Tour, 2 copies of the White Album. This is a re-release. This is the original embossed. I listened to this one because, honestly, it let's just face it, it sounds better. Yellow Submarine, Let It Be, Abbey Road, Past Masters, the Red Album, the Blue Album, and Rarities. I love and treasure every single minute of every single one of those, even the bad ones. On to the C's, we have Cat Stevens' Tea for the Tillerman, brilliant. Greatest Hits, Carole King Tapestry, classic. Cheap Trick, Dream Police, okay album, they definitely released better in my opinion. The Clash, London Calling, genius record. George Harrison and Friends, The Concert for Bangladesh. I mean, I just put it in the C's, just, because it's kind of like a various artist type thing, but it is absolutely a great live record. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Cosmos Factory, my favorite of their studio releases, and of course, Chronicle. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, self-titled, huge fan of these guys. This album is second to none, along with, of course, Deja Vu. Both genius records, along with, Four-Way Street, one of my personal favorite live albums of all time. Their great little greatest hits compilation so far. And the other self-titled, or CSN as it's usually just abbreviated to, from 1977. Some really good songs on there. And of course, The Cure's Disintegration. Love that album so much. David Bowie speedrun. We have Man Who Sold the World, Hunky Dory, Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane, Diamond Dogs, David Live, Young Americans, Station to Station, Changes One. Or Changes One Boy, whatever you want to call it. Low. Heroes. Lodger. Yeah, that's how you hold it. Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Let's Dance. The Next Day. Very underrated. And of course, Black Star. Again, love every second of those. As for my other Ds, David Gilmour self-titled, very underrated. Death Cab for Cutie, We Have the Facts and We're Voting Yes. Need to get more of them. One of my all-time favorite bands. That album is perfect. Deep Purple, Made in Japan, one of the great live albums. Derek and the Dominoes, Layla, and other assorted love songs. Great blues rock record. Doors, self-titled. Favorite debut album, well, one of them. Strange Days, brilliant. Waiting for the Sun, underrated. Soft Parade, good for the most part. Morrison Hotel, underrated. And classic LA Woman. And I also have 13 and Weird Scenes Inside the Gold Mine, which are two kind of greatest hits compilations, along with this one, which is, you know, it works. You also have one of my favorite albums of the 70s, David Crosby's If I Could Only Remember My Name. Underrated beauty right there. And of course their collaboration, his collaboration with Graham Nash, also some great songs on there. On to the E's, we have the Easy Rider soundtrack, one of the best movie soundtracks ever. Eagles, their first greatest hits from 71 to 75, sorry. And their second one, which is pretty much everything else. And The Long Run, probably my favorite of their studio releases. Eddie Money, I just got this, I'm sorry. Life for the Taking. Yeah, I mean, it's Eddie Money, you know, it's classic. Electric Light Orchestra, New World record, probably my personal favorite ELO record. My favorite non-Beatles artist of all time, Elliott Smith. This is Roman Candle, his masterful debut, along with the self-titled Either Or, EXO, Figure 8, From a Basement on the Hill, and New Moon. So got my Elton John stuff. We have Tumbleweed Connection, Madman Across the Water, Honky Chateau, just got this one, fantastic. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, masterpiece, obviously. His original greatest hits, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, and Diamonds. Also got my Elvis Costello, My Aim Is True, great power pop record. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Tarkus, oh my gosh, the title track is worth the price of the album alone, along with Brain Salad Surgery, again, masterpiece. And this Golden Hits of the Everly Brothers I found in an antique store. Record's a little musty, but I promise you the songs are not. Got Fleetwood Mac's original greatest hits with Peter Green, great compilation. They're self-titled, first with the classic lineup. Rumors, of course, genius. Tusk, great album. Frank Sinatra in the Wee Small Hours, my favorite of his. Frank Zappa, Hot Rats, my favorite Zappa record, along with my other favorite, Apostrophe. And of course, classic rock, well, classic, Fire and Water by Free. We also have the soundtrack to Garden State. I actually really like that movie, don't judge. Genesis, Nursery Crime, fantastic record. Along with, of course, Foxtrot, genius. Selling England by the Pound, classic. Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, masterpiece. And Trick of the Tail, actually kind of underrated in my opinion. I've listened to that quite a bit. Gene Clark, no other. Gene Clark from the Byrds is a masterful musician that I don't think got credit he deserved in his lifetime. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. That album is a part of me. And kind of a guilty pleasure, Cloud 9. There's some really good stuff on there, I'm not even going to lie. Same with George Michael's Faith. It's George Michael's Faith, come on. Gordon Lightfoot, Summertime Dream, solid record. The Edmund Fitzgerald's on it. Grand Funk Railroad live album, one of the best live albums ever. The soundtracks to the cinematic masterpiece Grease. Grateful Dead, Anthem of the Sun picture disc. Got huge into the Grateful Dead over quarantine, so expect to see a lot of them. Oxomoxoa, underrated. Live Dead. Ugh, so good. Working Man's Dead, classic, obviously. American Beauty, masterpiece. Skull and Roses, or self-titled, whatever you want to call it, even the other name. The Big Kahuna, Europe 72. This sealed the deal for me on the Dead, that album. Along with their two best of. This is Volume 1 and Volume 2. Pretty solid compilations. And Green Day, Dookie, classic. And the best of the Guess Who. I like these guys quite a bit. Also have Graham Nash Songs for Beginners. I really like this one quite a bit. And this masterpiece I couldn't leave out. Definitely one of my favorite sort of albums I like to throw on just for kind of to make fun of it, but it's so entertaining. Next we have Hall & Oates, Abandoned Luncheonette, definitely my favorite of their studio albums. Harry Nilsson, Schmilsson, great record. Heart, Dreamboat Annie, great 70s rock record. Holly's Greatest Hits, this one actually came with a different greatest hits. It's what I believe there's 70s one. But they're great songs all around. Humble Pie, Rockin' the Fillmore, another incredible live album. And I might as well just put my one eye in here. It's Iron Butterfly, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, classic. Two eyes, sorry. Isaac Hayes, Shaft soundtrack. Do Your Thing on side 4 is unreal. We have Janis Joplin, Pearl, legendary. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, fantastic. Jeff Buckley, Grace, unbelievable. Now to my Jimi Hendrix speed run. Are you experienced? Axis Bold as Love. Electric Ladyland. Smash Hits. Band of Gypsies. The Cry of Love. Soundtrack from the film Jimi Hendrix. The Essential Jimi Hendrix. And Crash Landing. All worth listening to on repeat forever. Jim Croce, Photographs, Memories, His Greatest Hits, one of my favorite singer-songwriters. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Love Rock and Roll, one of the coolest rock stars ever. The Essential Johnny Cash, also one of the coolest musicians ever. John Denver's Greatest Hits, classic all around. Almost left out this, Jim Croce, You Don't Mess Around with Jim. Very good album. Next we have John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band, incredibly moving record. Imagine, fantastic. Shaved Fish, good compilation. Double Fantasy, really wish I liked this one more than I did. John Lennon Collection, solid compilation. Joni Mitchell, Ladies of the Canyon. I really like this record quite a bit. Along with, of course, Court and Spark and The Hissing of Summer Lawns. I really need to get Blue. That is one of my favorite albums of all time. Only Journey record I have, Infinity. It's good. It's good. Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, and Closer. Both records that I will carry with me till the day I die. We have King Crimson, In the Court of the Crimson King. No introduction needed. The Kinks, Kinda Kinks, really good studio album from them. The Kink Chronicles, some absolute gems on here. And the Best of the Kinks, 1964 to 1970, which is definitely their prime. And two of their 80s albums, Give the People What They Want and State of Confusion, which are still better than pretty much anyone else's best work from that time. I also have Klaatu, very nice gem from the 70s, and another gem, Get the Knack, by, well, Laura Nyro, Eli and the 13th Confession, one of the absolute great voices of her time. Led Zeppelin 1, probably my favorite debut album ever. Led Zeppelin 2, just as good. Led Zeppelin 3, perfect. Led Zeppelin 4, great, but they have better. Houses of the Holy, my favorite Zeppelin song on here, the Rain Song, and the masterpiece that is Physical Graffiti. And, of course, I have Lou Reed, Transformer, a classic, and Lynyrd Skynyrd, pronounced Leonard Skynyrd. Some good songs on there. The Mamas and the Papas, Farewell to the First Golden Era, greatest hits. MC5, Kick Out the Jams, punk masterpiece. Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, great sort of disco record. Obviously, Thriller, no introduction needed, and Bad. I also have Moody Blues, Days of Future Past, great psychedelic rock record, along with Every Good Boy Deserves Favor. Got a sort of Motown compilation. There's some brilliant songs on here. I love Motown so much, and glam rock epic, All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople. Neil Young with Crazy Horse, Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. Brilliant. After the Gold Rush, masterpiece. Harvest, masterpiece. Time Fades Away, underrated. Tonight's the Night, genius. Decade, one of my favorite greatest hits compilations. And of course, Rust Never Sleeps, fantastic. Neutral Milk Hotel, In the Airplane Over the Sea, perfect record. Nirvana, Nevermind, genius. My favorite Nirvana record, In Utero, and their sort of greatest hits, the Black Album, as it's called. Very, very good. Oasis, Definitely Maybe. I love Oasis. Their early stuff with a burning passion. And, of course, very important album to me, What's the Story? Morning Glory. It's one of my favorite soundtracks to one of my favorite movies, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Ozzy Osbourne, The Lizard of Oz. Very important record to me. Patsy Cline's Greatest Hits, one of the all-time great voices. Paul McCartney, Ram, masterpiece. Band on the Run, my favorite of his solo work. Wings Greatest, and Wings Over America, fantastic live record. Paul Revere and the Raiders, Midnight Ride. I mainly got this for one song, the song Little Girl in the Fourth Row. Brilliant track. Pearl Jam, 10. Absolutely foundational. Perks of Being a Wallflower soundtrack. Every song here is golden. Perfect movie as well. Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive. No introduction. It's great. It's Frampton Comes Alive. Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Solid debut. Metal, underrated. Dark Side of the Moon. No introduction. Wish You Were Here. Fantastic. Animals, possibly, maybe my... Dark Side of the Moon's really good. But it's close. The Wall, genius. Oh yeah, that's all my Pink Floyd. We also have Pretenders, self-titled, fantastic, and Purple Rain, genius. Queen 1, their self-titled, I guess you could call it. Really, really good debut, actually. Queen 2, underrated. Sheer Heart Attack, brilliant. Night at the Opera and Day at the Races. Night at the Opera is obviously perfect, and Day at the Races is, I think, just as good. Queen, News of the World, pretty good. Probably my least favorite of their 70s, but it's great. And Jazz, legendary. Got Radiohead, The Bends, masterpiece. And OK Computer, this is the deluxe edition. Absolutely worth having for such a magnificent album. Kid A, genius. And On Any Given Day could be my favorite, In Rainbows. The Ramones self-titled, classic. REM, Automatic for the People, one of my personal favorites. The Replacements, Let It Be. That album, by the way, I prefer to the Beatles' Let It Be. If you've heard both albums, you would understand. Of course, have the Rolling Stones, here's Beggar's Banquet, very good album. Let It Bleed, also very good. Get Your Ya-Ya's Out, or Ya-Ya's Out, whatever you want to call it. Great live record. Sticky Fingers, probably my favorite. It's perfect all around. Not Sticky Fingers, Hot Rocks, the Volume 1. Great compilation, along with more Hot Rocks. Exile on Main Street, almost perfect record. Would be perfect if it was a single album, in my opinion. Goat's Head Soup, extremely underrated. Made in the Shade, solid compilation. And Some Girls, my favorite at one point. I have no idea why. We have Santana's self-titled, brilliant. Abraxas, also brilliant. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World soundtrack, one of the most nostalgic soundtracks ever. Genius movie as well. Seals and Crofts collection, actually some pretty solid stuff on there. Sensational Alex Harvey Band, Framed, got huge into them over quarantine as well. They're absolutely fantastic, along with the classic that is Next. Simon and Garfunkel, Sounds of Silence, awesome, awesome record. Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, beautiful. Bookends, classic, obviously, and Bridge Over Troubled Water, can't go wrong with it. Smiths, Meat is Murder, I actually really like this album. And I love The Queen is Dead. Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger, essential grunge album. Stephen Stills, self-titled, very, very good, I believe, along with Stills. Actually, some solid stuff on here as well. Steve Miller Band, Greatest Hits, some awesome stuff on here. Stevie Wonder, Looking Back, this contains a lot of his older Motown hits, definitely worth a listen. The whole triple album, along with Songs in the Key of Life, flawless from beginning to end. Original Musicarium 1, should release 2, but that's just me. I'm waiting. Stranger Things soundtrack. Not big on TV, but this is one of the few shows that I do keep up with whenever a new season comes out. Sufjan Stevens, Carrie and Lowell, one of the most devastatingly beautiful records I've ever heard. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Perfect. Only Talking Heads record I have, sadly, is Little Creatures, which is still a really good album, but need 'em all. Thin Lizzy, Bad Reputation, another one of my favorite bands I got into this past quarantine. Tina Turner, Private Dancer, I kind of love it. Todd Rundgren, Something Anything, great album. And the ever so brilliant A Wizard, a True Star. Got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes, classic all around. And spoiler alert for my top 102 albums, this is in the top 5, Wildflowers. Also have Utopia Ra, great album. Deface the Music, it's just some goodies on there, especially for the type of music I like. And the self-titled record, which is very, very good. Van Morrison, Astro Weeks, if I could have anyone's voice, this guy. Beautiful album. And so is, of course, Moondance. An essential record to me. Velvet Underground and Nico. Weather Report, Heavy Weather, great jazz fusion album. Jaco Pastorius is the greatest. And the West Side Story soundtrack, one of my favorite musicals, had to have it on wax. Got The Who, My Generation, missing a sleeve because this came in a 2-pack with their album Magic Bus, and my friend bought it, and he just gave My Generation to me because I did not have it yet, and he did. So, good solid deal all around. Tommy, genius. Live at Leeds, favorite live album probably ever. Who's Next, classic. Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy, great compilation. Quadrophenia, masterpiece, except for side 3. Oz and Sods, great sort of oddities compilation. Who by Numbers, so I did not do this, by the way, someone else did, but looks cool regardless. Album is cool regardless. Kids Are Alright soundtrack, pretty essential to me. I love just about everything on here. Favorite So Bad It's Good album of all time, Face Dances. It's perfect. I mean, it's maybe one of my favorite albums ever. And The Who's Greatest Hits. Got the Woodstock soundtrack, monstrosity, and I love it. I didn't mean monstrosity in a negative way, I just mean it's a big record. Woodstock 2, also very, very good. The Yardbirds, great hits, essential blues rock band. Yes, the Yes album, perfect. Fragile, also pretty much perfect. Close to the Edge, love it, love it, love it. Yes Songs, great live album. Relayer, gorgeous record. Young Rascals, Groovin', pop perfection. And last, but absolutely, positively, most certainly not least, the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. And there you have it, folks. That is my record collection. I kind of noticed during this video that I'm really not the most diverse as far as collecting is concerned, you know, because, like, in my personal music listening life, I am not confined to one genre at all. You know, I'm all over the place. This is just what I've been really into collecting as of late. And I probably will plan to, you know, get more stuff along the lines of that. But I mean, if you are watching this and for some reason you think, I mean, I got a request, but he's probably not going to want to do it, please drop it down below. I will be glad to, you know, of course I'm going to be honest, but I'd be glad to touch on it, be it an album or a music or movie related issue, you know, anything along the lines of that, you know, I would be more than happy to talk about it on here. Thank you so much for watching this probably really long video. My name is Jake. Oh, did it too soon. My name is Jake. I'll be back.